simple way, Vibhashika and Sautrantika, in lower Buddhist schools, even they don't believe independent self. Simple way, okay? Inside the category is a little bit different, but that's in general. The majority, the simple way. That's why they are very different than the non-Buddhist. This make big distinguish. So if you want to make this big distinguish in the lowest Buddhist schools, you can make very big distinguish is that, no independent self. Basically, is only understand the laboring self, but there's no independent self. And that viewpoint and the action plan, let's say the meditation, the practices, even say non-Buddhists do practice meditation, let's say single-pointed meditation, which is everybody do, and Buddhists do meditation. Even the meditation, the same thing, but the purpose is different. Why purpose is different? Because the viewpoint is different. You just have to know that. What is the differences? The Buddhist point of view, you aim for liberation, free from samsara, forever. Whether you are self-liberation or omniscient liberation, either way, you aim for that. So, and in Buddhist point of view, that non-Buddhist is not there. They aiming for heaven. Heaven means another language, the other language we call God realm. So God realm is include samsara. It's not free from samsara. So that make view difference. Then action-wise differences, because Buddhists focus on all sentient beings are mother, equal, and the others, human beings more important. And some people sacrifice them, killing them. Some people just, they are God made food for us. So it's very different view. Even you doing the same thing, both Buddhist or non-Buddhist, you doing the same meditation, but your different purpose. And you doing some good virtues, like you donating something, you helping somebody, you saving life, whatever, you're doing the same thing, but different purpose, different motivation. That's you have to understand. So, a simple way, if your purpose is limitless and your motivation is limitless and the result limitless, if you already made the draw line, your purpose and motivation limited already, then you cannot go further than that. Let's say, even we plan something tomorrow, you already planned tomorrow, no further than tomorrow, and something benefit for tomorrow, you cannot expect that is benefit next year. But you can plan and benefit something, ongoing benefits until next year. Then what is the differences? First, you have to think differently, plan differently, motivate differently. So that's first step. So that's why the motivation and the purpose, the view, because the motivation comes from what your view. So that's why it makes huge differences, because the start point. So that's we have to know. Okay? So let's say, I'm sure you guys experienced the other religion, other groups, what they practice, what their philosophy. Is anything not matched what I say now? Because what I'm saying now is come from text. So is something not much than a text? Have you ever experienced? If yes, tell me. Because this is the present reality. Okay? If you didn't have any experience, then I tell you, my my experience is very small. I mean, the other religion, everything is very small, I believe, compared to you. Because I come from Tibet. There is no, firstly, there is no other religions in Tibet. There is some Muslims and those, but we have absolutely bad language barriers, so we have no idea what they're doing, what they're thinking. So I have the only experience or opportunity to explore other religions and what they think and everything. A decade, only just a decade. So in the West, you have everything, you are multicultural, you have all backgrounds, all philosophy, long time. So did you have any experience, something not matched, or what I'm saying from the text? No?
I have some very religious family, and I've had one present to me, and I haven't responded, but present to me that the difference between his religion, he's Christian, and Buddhism is that the Christians are focused not on themselves, but on God, and the Buddhists are focused on themselves. And I think he's right about that, but not in the way that he feels he's right about that. And so I haven't really thought about this. This is 2 years ago he said this, and I have not yet answered him.
No.
And that's maybe a little different than what I believe Buddhism is and than what I heard from you.
No. I mean, say, that's his observation. But you guys' observation, something different than what I say.
Yeah, I think the way some Christians do, I even really am not sure how to speak right, but they do believe that if you go to heaven, that also liberation, because when you get there, it's eternal. So almost like you born into the Buddha field, or some of you born into the Buddha field, and that feel like eternal. So it's not in samsaric realm in a sense, because when you believe in God, and when you go through that salvation, you are not going back.
Exactly.
So that eternal and it's salvation, that permanent, something that not in the cyclic, like a samsara anymore. So
yes.
Like you reborn to the Buddha.
But what conditions? What conditions have to be in heaven?
Well, you have to absolutely have strong faith, and you absolutely liberate by the power of your from the purity of God and the grace of God, and you actually basically merge yourself with God. In not so much different from the Guru Yoga that we practicing. We inseparable from you and God, and you communion with God, and by that force you achieve salvation. I mean, I'm not a Christian, so I cannot speak for that. But
Okay.
from what my understanding as my book or from interacting with other people, so I would believe that that realm is not inside, according to them, and that through the power of the Father and Son, you actually achieve salvation with the Holy Spirit. Holy Spirit like a free kind.
Okay, okay.
So that's what my understanding.
But when you say this, I think we are still not very clear. You guys have to understand what is different to you born in Pure Land or you reach Buddhahood. What is the difference? Tell me.
Omniscient. Buddha to have omniscient.
You're not awakened in a Pure Land.
Huh?
You're not liberated. You're not liberated, nor you become enlightened in a Pure Land.
Yes.
And you can be in a Pure Land for some indefinite period of time.
Okay.
And in Pure Land, then my question, if you ask that, is in a Pure Land, are you benefiting others?
Yeah. Okay. So my point is then other idea of went to heaven, never come back, or went to Pure Land, never come back is the same?
No.
No? What difference?
No.
Because the Pure Land, eventually you'll reach liberation.
Heaven is for eternity. A Pure Land is impermanent.
Yeah. Okay. But the main point is.
Heaven is more like nirvana.
Hey, the main point what I'm saying is, firstly, you born in Pure Land and never come back. You born in heaven and never come back is very different than you reach Buddhahood. Because you reach Buddhahood means you are equal to the Buddha. Nobody is above you, and everybody is equal, right? And you go to heaven means you are under the God, and you never become God. Do ever become God? Anybody?
No.
Huh? But there's still some languages people using union with gods. That's not so bad. Have you heard that?
Yeah.
Union with God. So the question is, union with God means is you and God is separable or inseparable? That's the question you should have in the future. Okay? And also, yes, that Pure Land, go to reborn Pure Land and gone to heaven. Is anybody gone to heaven is ever become God? Or go to the Pure Land means the purpose of to go to Pure Land is become Buddha, become enlightened, fully enlightened. That is purpose. Okay, you able to go to Pure Land, that is very different than you really able to do that is different than normal concept, you know. There is you just want born a Pure Land without knowing, without logic, without study, without anything. You just want to believe and you want to try that is your option. Or you can understand why, how is it possible, the logic and everything, and you know, with knowledge. That's also one option. But either way, if someone reborn Pure Land means the purpose should be enlightened, should not temporary just holiday in Pure Land and have to come back samsara and suffer again. That doesn't make any sense, you know. Yeah, you able to reborn the Pure Land or not, that's a different story. But as long as you able to reborn Pure Land, the purpose should be fully enlightened one day. No, so the heaven is really different or not? That's we need to analyze. That's one thing. Second thing, we have to understand logically. So I met incredible Christian dedicated young man in London. Incredible knowledgeable, incredible dedicated. And we talking more than 1 hour. And he said, I asked him, is go to the heaven, do you, every Sunday you confessed all your problems? Is that good enough to, to go to the heaven? He said, no. He said, no. Then I said, what is the condition to have to go heaven? He said, you have to deny yourself. Deny, he used like that word. What does it mean? You deny yourself. So sounds to me is you have to be absolutely selfless. So and then say, okay, if we go to the heaven and is like that condition, and then if not go heaven, then rather than hell, any other places, he said no, only hell. He said only hell. So okay, in that case, looks like 99.99 seems like no hope. Heaven. So that means go to hell. So is anybody go to hell? Is a temporary pain, the karmic debt, or forever? He said forever. Forever. And yeah, there's the other medium or those things I questioned him. He said no, only heaven and hell, and both forever.
There's a temporary. They have one.
No, he doesn't believe that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he is very dedicated Christian, and very knowledgeable. I talk many monks, Christian, and many priests. I talk. Why? Because I have to write the Ocean University. So, but he's the most knowledgeable one I met. But his view is very strong. So then finally, long time I really very polite to him. I didn't give any challenges, but finally I couldn't help. So I just have to say, oh, then God made big mistake to create heaven and hell and sentient beings, because you go to forever hell. So the majority. So I have to say this, no choice. I just come from my mouth, without effort. So and then I heard that all day he very distracted and thinking all day. That day must be a very bad day for him, So, but my purpose is really exchange ideas, So that's the But his point of view, Buddhist, very bad because you have no union with God, and you not believe created God. This is very bad, he said, Yeah. So why do you think it's bad? Can you imagine?
No salvation.
I want to, you guys, we not just stuck with what texts say, what Tibetan traditional texts say, and we stuck on the text. Instead, you live a multicultural, religion. in here. So the reality, which way is more makes sense? You know, that's I think we need to discover. That's why I'm talking like this way. So, yeah, I say, why God created these things? If we didn't create, even better, because the majority in go to the hell. It sounds obvious according to you, according to him, you know. And also, he said it sounds like acceptable than the others say. You know, the other's point of view is so easy to go to heaven. You just do all bad things all the week, and then Sunday you go say, sorry God, I forgive for me, and so you purify it. So then you go to heaven, so it's easy. I mean, that is normal people's concept, isn't it? Everybody believes they go to heaven because they did that. So I compare that, what he's saying is really absolutely makes sense. You have to deny yourself, you know, and dedicate in God, 100%. That makes sense, you know. So that's what we say is really similar, you know, like we say that to become a bodhisattva, you have to have the courage to liberate all sentient beings. But I think the most important, when we have this courage maybe takes the time to build. We should accept that. And we should start generate that feeling, that mind, that habit. It shouldn't come automatically. If you come automatically, then it's so beautiful, unbelievable. But if you make the habit, it becomes a reality. We know all habit becomes a reality, you know, or whatever we do, and finally becomes reality. So that's why you should not, you know, like feel bad about how you are limited now. Why you feel bad about it? Everything is a process. Everything takes steps. Everything have different journey. Different times of journey, different locations of journey. So the problem is always we look very narrow and short, and then ourselves, you know, oh, I'm so bad. I couldn't do this. But isn't incredible even you had that idea? And think about how many sentient beings they don't have that idea. Think about that. You have that idea means you already start. And how many sentient beings even have no merits even start? So why is not encourageable for you this? Instead we take a negative way, you know, like, oh, I cannot do this, I'm hopeless, I can't do this. Yes, if you can't do this, but you can do this. Maybe you cannot do that degree, but you can do this degree. When you start at the pond, You are the right direction, which means limitless aim, limitless power. Why you focus on negative? So that Christian guy say, for me is, like you have to deny yourself. It's very profound. The only problem, go to heaven forever, go to hell forever. There's no but also one Tibetan monk, he said something very strange I never heard. I wouldn't say that is wisdom. But he said like this: enlightenment, if is limitless, then the hell also should be limitless. That's a very strange thought, don't you think? But for me is no. Do you know why? This is wrong. Why is it wrong? Okay. You suffer sentient beings, the worst consequence should be the hell. But even you every day kill hundreds, thousands of animals, it still is limited. And you live, let's say, 80 years, every day kill 1,000, let's say, it still is limited. It's not limitless. So why you have to go hell forever? And the motivation also limited, you're not thinking, oh, I'm going to kill all sentient beings. Nobody, I don't believe anybody have that motivation. You want to, your sole goal is to kill all sentient beings. And suffer all sentient beings. I don't think anybody have that motivation. So how can you go the hell is should limitless? No. But if you generate bodhisattva and your goal is liberate all sentient beings, that makes sense. Buddhahood is limitless, The manifestations are limitless. It makes sense. It's matched. And we know there is plenty people motivated that way. We know many people forgive even their enemies, even the murderers. Everything they forgive is not only forgive, but even they have compassion on them. So this is not a very good logic. But I thought that's very funny because I never heard that. A monk, he said this. Yeah. Maybe he's not his real thoughts, but he thought that this can make challenging. Okay, so we can have a lunch break and come back when? 2? 2 o'clock, and bring challenging topics. Is challenging for you personally, or confusing you personally, or not satisfy answers? Anything, like other people's presenting, teaching, that reading text, anything in your mind is something is not very satisfactory answer. You not necessarily absolutely disagree, but something not satisfactory. Either not so satisfactory or not acceptable or no make sense or confused or anything, please think about it on the lunch time and write down, don't forget. We're going to have a big discussion afternoon. So then afternoon is great. Otherwise I'm very tired because aging time, sleeping time, you know. I'm still jet lag. But when we have hot topic, then no problem. But if you don't have anything, then we can discuss from some book, from those books. But I think we should, these 2 days, at least we should establish very logical, way to understand Buddha nature. Why is the Buddha nature is so important and superior than any other schools, any other philosophy, religion, science, how so encourageable that we have to make solid establishment these 2 days, okay? Yeah, but to do this, I need your help. Your help means not you spoon feed me. Your help means I need your challenge in me. You challenge in the text, you challenge the tradition, you challenge the teachers, you challenge me, and more coming on a practical level. Okay?